welcome Julie Tully. Welcome, Julie.
Hiya.
It's great to have you on. Julie is owner and entrepreneur of the Harmony Hub in Ballyclare.
I was always kind of like, I know I'm not like, it's more like emotional and inward stuff that I wanted to feel better with, rather than going to a doctor for physical treatments and things like that. So it's just started with crystals.
Really, afterwards. But as I said, when I get onto the bed, I could just feel my womb go bang, and it just started doing all these movements. And I had said that to you afterwards, and then you had said you had never kind of felt that energy. Hi, and welcome to The Greater Truth of a Woman with myself, Lisa Barrett, and today I welcome Julie Tully. Welcome, Julie.
Hiya.
It's great to have you on. Julie is owner and entrepreneur of the Harmony Hub in Ballyclare. So Julie, tell us a wee bit about your work.
Entrepreneur sounds a bit of a jarring word to put with the Harmony Hub. I would say I'm founder of the Harmony Hub. I think that feels nicer to say. The Harmony Hub is a holistic lifestyle centre, let's say. It's kind of evolved over the years, so it never kind of went in with like a clean mission statement, because there was COVID, there was swapping over units, always evolving. But yeah, essentially it's a holistic lifestyle centre where people come for holistic therapies and classes to help just kind of grow and heal and connect with other people on the same wavelength as them. Yeah,
it is a really nice place. It's very homely, welcomely, and like yourself, every time I go in, there's a big hug waiting for me, which is lovely. Really,
the famous
lovely.
Hugs. Everyone loves a wee hug.
So tell me a wee bit how you ended up getting into holistics. What took you down that journey?
It's a bit random, it is.
We all have random journeys. We all have random
100%.
stories.
So I was just talking about how I was training in uni as for media production, and then I've ended up as a holistic therapist. It's just like, how did that happen? Over the years, you kind of, things happen to you, and you work out like, what way can I help myself feel better from this? Yeah. And I was always kind of like, I know I'm not like, it's more like emotional and inward stuff that I wanted to feel better with, rather than going to a doctor for physical treatments and things like that. So it's just started with crystals. I think that's everybody's way in.
Crystals. That was my wee foot in, was crystals. I've always been drawn to them. Always been drawn to them.
Crystals was like, I think that was, if you track it way back to the beginning, it was crystals, and then it was meditation. It wasn't until I discovered meditation that it was like, boom, this is huge. This is like life-changing, and it literally was life-changing. So I was working a lot on myself, doing breath work, going on silent retreats, learning Buddhism, and just a ton of that kind of thing. You know? And the more you see it helping, the more I saw it helping me and my partner. Yeah. And, you know, you would give your friends wee crystals and give them like a wee bit of a tip. And here's how to meditate on this. You know, I need to try this. And all these wee things were working. And that really stoked my fire. I was like, oh my God, like this is like, more people need to know about this. And like, this was, I think, about 13 years ago. Now, in Northern Ireland, like they always say, in this country, we're about 10 years behind everybody else.
I agree.
It was there. The spiritual community was there, but I don't think it was there in the way that it is now. Yeah. It's very, very, at the forefront of well-being and wellness, and holistic therapies is very popular at the minute.
It has come on. I've always been into spiritual work, but kind of dip my toes in, dip them out. I think there's a wee bit of fear around. People think, oh, you're bunkers. You know, when I've been telling people about even the therapies I've had with you, and what has actually showed up in them, they're kind of going, oh, so.
It's just, even now, it's still so alien to people. Like, even though it's very popular and people are going for things like Reiki and, they're going to yoga classes, there's still a lot more and a lot deeper that you can go, isn't it? And that's what I find really exciting, is like, while it's now kind of, it's normal and it's accepted, there's like so much more that people can still do. And it's like, whenever you find like a beginner, like whenever a beginner total newbie comes to you and they're like, oh my God, like this happened and I felt this and I saw this, and you're like, oh, it's really exciting, because you just know that they're on a wee path now that's going to be really good for their soul, and like good for one of the ethos ethoses. One of the, what was the word for that? Like one of the mission, like part
Like
of the mission for the
mission?
Harmony Hub. Yeah, part of
Yeah.
the mission for the Harmony Hub is to help you feel good about yourself and
Yeah.
start living a happier life. And in doing that, then you can have that ripple effect on your family and the friends and your people that you work with, all having that, the benefit of those positive vibes that you're giving off, and maybe have like a wee effect and plant wee seeds of like, the other people can do some more healing too.
Yeah.
When we take care of ourselves, we can change the world around us.
Exactly.
And that goes on and on and on to everybody who tries it.
Yeah. Where I was kind of the opposite to you. I worked on the outer body first.
Yeah.
And then obviously went inward in the last few years. So, I mean, I want to bring that more to clients, which is why I have the podcast as well. And I'm looking at wellness practices, as you know, too. So what would be your favourite treatment for clients? I know what my favourite kind of exercises would be with clients and why they would be. So what would be your feeling, or what would be your favourite to treat people? Breathwork,
yeah. And it's one of the ones that people don't book in one-to-one very often, because you kind of assume that meditation and breathwork is like a class that you go to as a group, and that's okay. Like, you can still have profound experiences like that, but when somebody goes really like all in with the breathwork one-to-one, like, you can do so much, and the releases, the epiphanies, and like the inspiration that people get on a one-to-one basis is just like probably the most rewarding. I do love to do there's like Reiki, I call it my energy healing and balancing one, so you're looking at chakras and you're using Reiki and crystals as well. So it's only therapy I would use crystals with at the minute. It's just that wee energy balancing one. That's a really popular one, and like it is, I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but like I really enjoyed it.
You enjoy it? I had the womb blessing with you.
Yes.
So that
Was that your favorite?
It was lovely. It was a real surreal treatment, but very opening, I just felt really feminine, really lovely, really, afterwards. But as I said, when I get onto the bed, I could just feel my womb go bang, and it just started doing all these movements. And I had said that to you afterwards. And then you had said you had never kind of felt that energy before. So when I was leaving, I was like, oh my goodness, is there something I don't know about here? Is there a wee button here I don't know about? Yeah. And I was kind of like, I maybe need to go to Tesco's on my way home here and get a pregnancy test.
Did you?
I did.
Do we need to do a pregnancy reveal on your podcast?
No, I'm not. By the way, I'm not. But it just kind of thought, oh my God, because I had actually said I'd never really wanted children before, and that whole healing kind of changed my perspective. And then obviously I had all the movement and the feeling, and I was like, what is going on here? Maybe I need to do a wee check on the way home. So I literally left your place, drove to Tesco's with the sweat beating off me, run into Tesco's, needed to pay. I was like, Lisa, hold it in.
Babe.
So there you go.
Were you nervous, like, at the thought of going to take a test?
I was kind of nervous. I was kind of thinking, maybe I need to buy a bottle of wine here just in case.
Wine and pregnancy tests.
I know. But I didn't. I actually just bought the pregnancy test. So, but no, we're negative.
Yeah, we're negative. Okay, fair enough. It's funny how it just, like, the womb blessing, like, for me, even saying the word blessing feels weird for me, because to bless somebody seems to be a very religious thing, right? Yeah. But when I was doing my training, it was the woman who created the womb blessing healing is called Miranda Gray, and she does like a lot of work like globally, so everybody we have like different trainers all around the world, and that's just what the therapy was called, womb blessing. I would have called a person like a womb awakening or something, but like whenever you're doing that treatment, that's what I need to be doing it under. But because it's all very specific, it's very exact, and it's exact like that for a reason. Like, it does bring up a lot of stuff once you do it.
Definitely something I would never have even thought about, but it was only because you had said it was good for breakups and good for bringing you back into your divine energy and things like that. So that was the reason for doing it, but I'm glad I did it. Yeah, because I've actually recommended it to other people as well who have never had it even in holistics, and told them it was really lovely, really just female energy. Yeah.
I think that's another thing, is that until you start looking into holistics, you would never consider like these sides of yourself. Like, before, you know, because that's what I love. It encourages you to look at like you as an entire human being and all the parts that will make up you.
Yeah.
Like which part needs a wee bit of help, which part needs a wee bit of softness or
Yeah.
a bit more fire underneath it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I love about it.
I definitely did need a bit of softness. There was definitely there was definitely an ego, but that was for protection. I felt that ego was protecting me from what had happened to me years ago. And it's kind of dropped down and doing all this work. And that's what I say to clients as well. You know, you need to do the inner work as well as the outer work. It is very, very important.
Yeah. I think with whenever you're doing, like, funny you said you started like your physical stuff first. It's almost like people know that they need to change something and they need to feel in control of things.
Yeah.
And the physical side is something that they can be really in control of.
Yeah.
Like you can go really deep into all your macros and your diets and
Yeah.
all this, that, and the other calories, blah, blah, blah. And like different ways of lifting weights and different, you know, all these different, but like it ends up just being a wee temporary thing, doesn't it? Like, you know, you get that temporary boost of like feeling good, and then after the gym, after a few hours, there's still maybe something underneath there, which
the endorphins, once the endorphins were off, and you know, it's there. You need to do the inner work as well, especially if you have had trauma or you have had something happen to you. And everybody has some sort of trauma in their life. It doesn't have to be massive, but you know, something that's traumatic to me might not be traumatic to you. You know,
this is it.
We need to give value to that too for people. So Reiki, talk to me a wee bit more about Reiki.
Reiki,
because it's a hard one to explain, especially if you haven't worked in it. I struggled to explain it before.
So Reiki, it's funny. See, whenever people say like explain Reiki or explain chakras, I always have, like, you know, if you were to type it into Google, it's like the most common sentence. It is a safe, non-intrusive healing energy. That's what Reiki is. Always, that's the standard way of describing it. But yes, it's safe. Yes, it's non-intrusive. But like, so should everything be. Like, everything should be safe. Reiki is an energy that the practitioner would channel down. Into you, then to the client, from the universe, from the kind of collective energy. It's very hard to fathom because it is so profound. So you would channel that down, and that is a very intuitive energy. It requires very little of me, really. If I was to just stand and send the Reiki through, you know, I wouldn't really need to do much else. But whenever I'm doing my Reiki treatments, I like to let the client feel nurtured. So like, I also bring in, you know, the gentle touching on, you know, the sides of the body. I would bring in the crystals and the chakras so that you feel more involved in your own healing as well. But Reiki on its own, it just involves me placing, you know, there's certain people would draw symbols in their hands to activate the Reiki energy, but once you've been at it a bit longer, you know, it's not always necessary to do the, you know, as long as you can active and sit and rub my hands. This is it. As long as you've got the intuitive abilities to kind of switch on, right, this is it, we're going now. That's enough. And you would start at the head, work down through the body. A lot of it is working in the aura of a person. So if anybody's watching that don't know what an aura is, that's like your kind of bubble of energy that's around you all the time. Like, you know, whenever you could like walk in your room and you could feel somebody's energy and you just know they're pissed off about something, or you know they're elated, like, because that's their energy bouncing off them, and your energy field is reading theirs. So when you have, like you say, like, everybody has something happen to them, everybody has some form of trauma, or like just something negative or heavy or something transformative, and it maybe doesn't always be transformative for the best. Those kinds of things like would live in your aura. Right. That just, for me, it just feels like a difference of energy. Maybe other Reiki practitioners would describe it differently, but you know, if you say you're at the head and you're feeling like this person's energy and it feels like, you know, nice and vibrant and nice and fizzy under the hands, but you're going down through the aura and you maybe feel like a wee sticky something, you know, it's
or like a heaviness,
just a wee heavy something. You just feel like that doesn't feel the same as the rest of the aura, and you know that that's where they've been holding something. And like, I always whenever I first started doing Reiki, like for clients, there was this woman, she broke her leg, and I kept going over her leg. And it was just like, what has happened to your leg? And she says, like, I says, like, I'm getting like a vein or something. And she says, yeah, like she had to get surgery in her leg. And then ended up having varicose veins and stuff after the surgery. And it was like really weird, because I was like, I felt that before I even seen it. It was really bizarre. And even like the amount of years that I've been doing this, it still shocks me. It's still like, oh my God, this is really cool. You know, because you got like one foot in the normal world and you're just doing your bog standard, doing the school run, doing the dinners and doing the shopping list and all that. And then you're in this magical spiritual world at work. And it's just crazy because like you kind of just, I was going to say you forget it. You kind of just don't, you're not always aware of all those things until you actually you're in that space and you're in that very intentional space with people to help them heal. But yeah, so like if you had like somebody heartbreak, you know, you're going to be a wee fuzzy area around your heart. If you had like something, you know, there's physical stuff. If you have like something physical happening, it's going to feel different over there as well.
You can feel the first time I had Ricky, I could feel I've always had issues with my knees, and that was the first thing that really showed up with me. But that was probably about 10 years ago I had that, and I could feel the energy in my knees, and the practitioner could feel it as well. But after that I hadn't had Ricky. I wouldn't kind of just never really wanted it again until I had been to you, and I have you and Mandy would probably be the only two that I would go to for it. So it would.
I know, you just kind of find your people that fit, you know. There's loads of Reiki practitioners nowadays, and not everybody is for everybody. It's not like, you know, even if you find your hairdresser, you just know that's your wee person. That's the same with like energy healing as well. Like once you find your person, you just tend to go there.
So you mentioned doing the school run there. So you're a mum, Julie?
Yes.
So what's it like being a mum and being a spiritual person as well? What do the children think of that, or do they understand?
Yes, they do. It's hard for me to kind of say what's different because it's just the way that they've always been raised. Whenever Amber was young, Amber, God love her, she was like fairy wee redhead child, like toddler age, when I started to go into my spiritual healing, because I was like being really angry and snappy with her, and I was just like, I don't like this for me, because like you know, you grow up in a household where smacking bums is okay and like shouting is okay, and you know it doesn't feel nice. And like, I mean, yes, you do still tell her off and all that other stuff, but like I was just getting to the point where like, this does not feel nice. I need to sort my anger out inside. So that's why I went like, you know, meditation, because that's like the standard. Don't want to go down the route of getting diazepams. Let's try something else. So let's try meditation. You know, the more gentle way to train your mind to do it.
And anger is something that did actually show up for me, but I kind of pushed it out with exercise. That was how I sort of kept my anger out of the road.
You cannot escape anger, like no matter how much.
I know, because it chases you. And then I had developed the like skin condition as well, with stress and feeling overwhelmed and stuff. And I know you had spoke about you had a skin condition as well. So what sort of treatments did you use to help your skin condition? Or where was yours showing up? Mine was mostly my back. I feel like I was carrying the weight of the world on my back.
On your back. With the skin, now I have had skin issues my whole life. When I was about 2 or so, my mummy and my granny, I lived with my granny as well, they were constantly bathing me, constantly slathering me in all these wee lotions and stuff, to the point where I don't think that my skin naturally developed its own natural oils and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So there's always been that, right? But recent years, it's when I have learned about topical steroid withdrawal, I decided to come off the steroid creams that I was on from I was 2 years old. And like that whole time from like 2 till about 33, I had only maybe had 2 doctors tell me, you know, you shouldn't be on this long term. And because like that was something that wasn't reinforced by other doctors, I just went, shush, you know, it works fine for me, you know, it's not doing me any harm. Then you go into it and you're like, oh Christ, that is actually doing really a lot of harm to my organs and preventing it from having its own natural response to allergens and you know, things that would make me scratch and stuff. So whenever I came off that, I went into that big withdrawal.
Did you find your skin flared up even more then because of that?
Yeah, it went absolutely bananas. Now I've done it a few times, because sometimes I really have needed to take steroids for stuff, but like I was just slapping it on like a moisturizer every day. Do you know what I mean? That was what was really hard. So whenever withdrawing out of that was like my whole skin swelled up. It was like constant scratching. If you sweated ever so slightly, you were constantly stinging. It was all over, like, you know, my eyelids and stuff were swelled up, and like I would have to nearly like pick off the scabs so that I could like move my eyes. It was awful. So that lasted for about like a year the first time. and then you come off it, and you go and do a few wee things, and then like you have I had a big massive flare up on my ankle, so got a wee steroid for it just to settle it down.
Yeah.
And then because my body hadn't had it for so long, it was like, oh, happy days, I've got the steroid back, and then it got reliant on it, and then I had to go through another withdrawal because so I've done it a few times, and then most recently it was more like a period of stress.
Yeah.
And a more of a period where all my anger just came to the surface, as well as, because of the stress I was drinking loads, because of the stress I was, like withdrawn. Yeah. And that was all my face and my neck and like my hands, everything that people would, if you were to wear like everything, like cover everything up, the only things visible was your hands and your face. Oh, sorry. And that's where everything showed. So it was like I was trying to just tell the world how angry I was and show how sad I was, and like, please tell me everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean? So as well as, obviously taking care of like the physical stuff, with the stress, with the skin, it was like cold showers, it was vagus nerve stimulation, ensuring stuff like protein, making sure I'm eating a lot of protein so my body can actually heal itself. Yeah. And sleep.
Like
all those natural
we were just talking
things.
About that before we came on.
Yeah.
Is sleep, how important your sleep is.
100%. Yeah. And even when you're sleeping, like that's whenever you process everything as well. So, the dreams I had in that whole flipping last year was crazy too. Just reliving all these scenarios. I should have said this. Like, what if I said this? I was going to say that. You live all this, and that was in dreams as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel, so when you're dreaming, then your subconscious is showing you what you need to heal from? Because I've spoke to other people about this.
Yeah, well, not always what you need to heal from, I don't think.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I feel with having the PTSD, mine's kind of started about 7 years ago, and I hadn't healed from being raped back then, and the dreams just started showing up, and they started showing up with a mixture of things like what was going on in my current and then the past of being raped. And I have found as time has gone on and I have done more of the healing work, there's little things that they're showing up, dreams, the stuff that I haven't even thought about, but obviously something my subconscious has held on to it, and just showing up as if to say, you need to process that, maybe journal about it and let it go.
Yeah. So like that's a big thing to be trying to heal from, darling, as well.
I know.
So, like I had no idea that happened to you.
Oh,
no, it's okay. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, any wonder it's showing up in your dreams. Yeah. Yeah, it's for me. Like I think dreams are, your mind's way of processing things that have happened to you. Not always really what you need to heal from, because sometimes you'd be like, I feel like sometimes I go to sleep and I live the same day again. Yeah. Or I just go and live like a normal life. Sometimes my dream is like I'm making a cup of tea and cleaning the house. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it's just processing what happened rather than having to fully heal from something. Yeah. But definitely with stuff like what you've gone through, like that, it's going to show up.
Yeah. It did. I've spoke about it now a couple of times on camera, and it just came out of me the first time I spoke about it on camera, because I had sort of thought that I had kind of healed, and I went in. What took me into holistic journey more was I was in normal counselling, and it kind of opened up all those wounds, and then that was I kind of had a sort of a guy who sort of did between the two. He did holistics and he did like normal counselling. And
that was the RTT you were telling me
about?
No,
not the RTT. It was a guy called David Healy. Okay. And he works for suicide prevention, and I did a lot of work with him, but he kind of took me in a wee bit more into the path of meditating and stuff, and he was really good, and I knew I needed to go inwards and heal myself. So I do feel that it has impacted a massive part of my life, and I have made a lot of not so good decisions based on it, because I felt that I was keeping myself safe, and it's only more as I do the healing work that they weren't the right decisions. But again, that was my subconscious saying, this is what was safe for you. Well, it was trying to keep me safe. Yeah. At that point, before I had did all the healing work. Yeah.
And it's good that you're talking about it now. It comes out on camera.
I would never have never ever spoke about it. Justin's dad, I didn't even tell Justin's. It happened before I was with Justin's dad. I had never. It took me about 3 years, three to 4 years to even tell him about it, and that was before I'd even sort of started dealing with it. Yeah. Because that all happened before I had Justin and stuff. So Yeah.
It's awful. Like the
It
shame
was a
around it
whole,
too.
for me, it was a whole push down of emotions, and it didn't happen. And yeah, and exercise I felt kept me safe, kept me functioning. And yeah, it really did. Exercise saved my life. I do believe that. And starting my own business as well, and helping other people.
Yeah.
Was, because I feel healers, like, which both of us kind of are, that kind of, you helping other people heals you as well.
Yeah.
When you're doing the work.
Yeah, that's
So
very
it does.
true. And I think whenever you kind of heal out loud, it helps other people recognize what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Has been, dealt with so many times by other people before. So it just doesn't make sense to keep it in. Do you know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. But you do. It's like, well, I felt I came from a culture of, don't talk about it. We'll not talk about the elephant in the room kind of scenario. And that, years ago, that's kind of was what the culture is. But now it's different. You have social media, and I do feel women need to speak out, speak up, and I feel it's okay to talk about. If you feel safe, it's okay to talk about it. If you're healing. And well, I mean, for a long time I felt really ashamed of what had happened to me, but I don't feel ashamed anymore, which is a big step for me. But I did, like, I I have had surgery, and I had told you that, but that I do, at the time I didn't realize that was why I was doing it, but it was part of the reason.
Yeah, like reclaiming your own.
I felt like
autonomy
it was
kind of thing over your own body.
Reclaiming my own body, and afterwards I had surgery, and I was like, this does not make me feel the way it should. And then that's when I knew I need to go more inward. I need to do more work. This needs to go.
It's good that you finally arrived at that, though. Like, eventually, a lot of people kind of just continue more surgeries, more work, more like exercise, more stress, more shit, and that it never ends up feeling like it's resolving anything.
You have to look at your beliefs and your limiting beliefs, and if you can't look at yourself and say, I am that kind of person, but not everybody is. Kind of like me and you, they would assess themselves and do inner work, but so with regards to I would be into the moon and stuff like that. I've always been drawn to the moon. And I do have my own wee rituals, like salt baths, crystals, journaling, going out cycling in the moon. So, nice. But you have the Luna Society.
The Luna Society, yeah.
So tell me about it, because I love this. Really, really, really love this. We're jumping back in. We had a wee bit of a battery loss. So
this is fine.
Or we run out of batteries maybe. But we were getting into talking about the moon and what you bring as a community and what you do through your work and how you can actually help people. And I was saying about how I was drawn to the moon as well, and all the practices I've had. So tell me about your Luna Society.
The Luna Society. So sorry, blah, blah. Going back into it. It's hard to kind of, what did I say before? The Luna Society, it is something that I hold really, really dear to my heart. Like, if everything else was to fail and fall away and I have to close, like, it would be the Luna Society would be the one thing I would try to just continue forever and ever and ever. I love it. It's a women's community for women who are on the spiritual path and this like wanting to explore their spirituality more, wanting to explore their connection to the moon. So we have new moon circles and full moon circles. And if you're a member, you also get some wee digital bonuses. So that's like your tarot card spreads, your full moon journal and prompts. And like we cool things like phone wallpapers with like positive affirmations and like a playlist and all. I'm like a kid at Christmas making it. Like, I love every month. I love it. So there's lots of lovely wee things, wee benefits of being a part of it. But in the new moon circles, they're always in the red tent temple that I have created in the Harmony Hub.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's such a cool room.
It is very cool.
I know, like, people walk in, they're like, whoa, I didn't expect this at all. It's on the upper floor of the studio and it's got like a pitched roof. So because I pitched roof, we were able to make it an actual kind of tent that made you feel like you were sitting in a tent, and it's all red satin material and voile and like big thick rugs and pillows everywhere, and it's a real lush place to just come and chill. And the full moon then, normally in the winter months it would be held in the studio, but in the brighter days and the warmer nights, it would be on a beach or in a forest.
Lovely.
Or somewhere really cool in nature. Yeah,
somewhere near the water with moonlight.
Yes. Oh god, it's lovely. Whenever sometimes the guys would stay really late, like after the circle's finished, they'd stay really late and like they would go swimming and all in the moonlight. It's really, really cool. But the red tent temple, that's a really interesting thing that I think is kind of making a bit of a comeback nowadays.
Yeah.
It was born from this tradition that existed like ages ago, and like whenever people lived in communities and villages, and it was all very small and communal, and everybody knew each other, and all the women's periods used to sync up together.
Yeah.
So what they used to do was whenever they all were on their period, they would clear off to somewhere, and it would end up being called the red tent. They would clear off and just have their period. They would bleed into the ground and just be able to take a break from all their responsibilities and just take time off and connect with each other.
Yeah.
And, it's time for just them. And I think that's what's been really like a big disconnect for women in society as well. Like,
definitely, I think that's what's missing nowadays. Women rush about, they don't take any rest when it comes to their period as well.
Yeah.
And we are synced in with the moon. That's our cycle as well. And I know when I worked, with a lot of women out in the community, and sometimes we would sync in, even my clients would sync in as well. So that's where all that came from for your red tent.
Yes, everybody, all the members tend to sync up and they're all bleeding at the same time, like so there, which is really cool. It just kind of is a wee testament for how close we are, because we only really see each other twice a month. So that we're kind of bringing back that sense of, here's a place for you to go, and for sure you're going to be going there every month, where you're going to be seen, you're going to be understood, you're going to have a place to just properly get your emotions and your struggles and things that you want to celebrate also off your chest too, because I don't think we celebrate each other, like ourselves, enough.
No, women don't celebrate themselves enough. Definitely not.
We're very good at coming together and having a good moan, which is great.
Yeah.
But when it comes to celebrating, like it's, I would always tell people, like, tell me your name and tell me the best thing that's happened to you this week, or something that you're really proud of, or your favorite thing about yourself. So by just coming to those circles, you're trained, and I train you, so like you're going to come with something good to say about yourself. Yeah. And you always find, this is the magic of circle too, you always find that if you come to circle with a very specific issue, like some random obscure medical condition, there will be somebody else who has experience in that, and just from you sharing that, you're going to get the support that you need. It's insane the amount of things and how specific the situations get. There's always somebody like, I know exactly what we can do, like how we can help and move through it.
That's like the mirroring clients again and things like that. You drawing people in through energies. As well.
Just everybody comes. Yeah, right enough. Yeah, they're all drawn. Like, I need to go to circles tonight because subconsciously, somebody's going to need you. It's really, really beautiful. And the red tent thing, I just find it really special. Yeah. It's really special. And you can come in a red tent temple. It's like, when I say temple, don't expect like wee mini gods everywhere. It's just a place that we hold very special and sacred. Because it's all comfy, everybody comes in their jammies, or you can come in your very like ceremonial outfits. Yeah. Everybody brings some food, and just we lay around while we're doing the inner work together, and it's very relaxed, it's very chill, and a lot of the time it is exhausted mummies. It's people who are working their asses off in their workplace to get, and they're lacking that validation and rest and time. So
that's exactly, and feeling heard. By other women, because life is so busy, and I know myself, as I'd said to you, I have supposed to get up the last 3 times and haven't been able to. And it's needing to take time for yourself. We as women don't take enough time for ourselves. I am hell for it. I'm hell for chasing my tail all the time. I was doing it this morning. Just way to work, getting changed, and as mums too.
Mummies too, yeah. I could kind of think like men equally don't take as much time for themselves as they should. I see my partner hitting a brick wall now and again. Like, he's just done so much. I think we go hell for leather at the mother and everybody, and taking care of the home and the house and the men. they deal with things totally different too, but I think it's important not to discount their experience as well.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's a space for men, and I would really love to see, this is actually something too, I would love to see a men's version of the Luna Society.
There you
And
go.
I'm actually
cool.
really proud to say my partner has teamed up with another fella to make a men's circle in the Harmony Hub. Now,
Wow.
it's once a month. It's not like as spiritually focused and as moon focused as
Okay.
mine. It's just the fella that he opened it up with was with him and Mark Brown
Okay.
have both done mental health first aid training and stuff. So their goal began with helping reduce suicide rates in Northern Ireland because
wow.
men not having enough places
Yeah.
to speak. So yeah, women equally, we work our
Yeah.
asses off, but men also need that acknowledgement.
Yeah.
So we do have something for the men there too. But the Luna Society, yeah, you can. That's a lot more like a spiritual journey, kind of.
Yeah.
You're walking through people with the spiritual journey.
Yeah. I was gonna say, sort of going back into the men don't really men have to feel like they are the protectors, and that is the law, with sort of the law of balance that way. But as you said about suicide and stuff, it's hard in Northern Ireland where men are concerned anyway.
Yeah, I think with like the highest rates in the UK.
Yeah,
in Northern
which
Ireland.
is scary.
And within Northern Ireland, I think Belfast, West Belfast.
Yes, I heard
is
that
the highest
statistic
as
too.
well, and that's where Mark is actually running his own circle. So Chris and Mark do one together, and then Mark does another one in a place called Alchemy and
Yeah.
Ashes in Belfast. So that's also once a month down there.
Wow, that's a really wonderful thing to do.
Yeah, and it's nice because I think it's less, because Mark he's also a shaman, and it's less like mental health. It looks less like a mental health place, so you don't
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I'm going here because there's something wrong with me. You're just drawn to his energy because he has that kind of magic about him, and Chris has that like lovely welcoming persona as well. Like, it doesn't feel like you're going to get help with your mental health. It feels like you're joining a brotherhood with those guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Which
like a
is
friends
nice,
group, which
yeah.
is
Because
more relaxed.
there's as even though mental health is spoke about quite a bit, it is still, even when I speak to other counsellors, therapists, they still say it's still technically taboo. A lot of people won't be vocal about it and about their mental health, which is why I have been a bit more, because I feel it, as you said earlier, it helps people.
Yeah, to heal out loud. And
heal
to
out
talk
loud,
about it,
yeah.
I think it's when we're in this kind of sphere of the healing sphere, like it's about finding creative ways to help people open up as well, isn't it? Because like I said about the hairdressers earlier and the Reiki, but once you find your people, then that's your people. But once you find a way that works for you, a lot of people are going cold water swimming at the minute, and that is helping people massively with their mental health.
I did that for quite a while too, and it did really, really help me.
And even
it really lifts
that
your
are,
mood.
Yeah, the pockets of community that are being created with those guys too.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, it's less of like the clinical stuff, like going to a doctor or going to a focus group or something about mental health, but like going and doing those things that feed your soul and help you feel good in other ways. It's not just physical and mental. Like it's all about, it's holistic healing is all about, essentially.
Well, that's it.
Like creative ways.
Not just throwing medication at it, which is which happens. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I know that, not getting into clients' personal details, but clients that have come to me have been on the same medication for years and years and no reviews.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that is right. And have asked clients, maybe you should get that reviewed. Which
even with my skin.
Well,
it wasn't really reviewed. Even with my asthma has only just been reviewed twice in the past 2 years.
Well,
the whole time, this wasn't really
funny you should say that. When I had took COVID, I was given the inhalers because my chest was so bad, told I had asthma, never had the test, still haven't had the test because of the list is that long.
I think in COVID they were doing what they could with what they could. Like it was it was scary times. Like, so yeah, the inhalers, I had COVID during the whole lockdown too, and I have asthma, and my inhalers did help a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it makes sense to give it to you because it did help people that even didn't have asthma.
Yeah.
But no, it's just kind of, it's sad to see that people just take this stuff and say, right, this is me for the rest of my life. This is it. This is the way it's going to be from now on. And it's always seen as like a long-term permanent thing rather than a like temporary thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of doctors that are aware and they're trying to, include holistic healing, but generally it is repeat prescriptions, not real. And the NHS is getting worse to access help, when you need it.
Yeah, I agree.
People are like in crisis mode and they're like, oh, you can come and see me in 6 months, 10 months, 2 years. And it's like, I need it now. Like, that's what's really scary. So I think while, yes, medicine has its place, and I'm not going to tell anybody to not take the medicine whenever they actually really super need it. But while you're waiting, see if holistic ways don't help you
Yeah.
as well, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of other things, like you've got, what was I saying earlier, the physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, community, and then there's financial and your environmental. So what's that? It's eight
That's
pillars
all
of
your
wellness.
wellness, isn't
That's
it?
all your 8 pillars of wellness. So like if you're feeling mentally low,
Yeah.
doesn't mean the first thing you do should go be getting
Take tablets
for it. Or if you're like, you know, if you're struggling socially, maybe it's because there's something emotionally that you need to, you know, like ADHD, and people don't realize they have ADHD or autism.
Yeah.
And they think I'm like not suitable for a friend group or something, but it's about, you know, recognizing what's going on with you mentally. So when you look at everything holistically, then you can maybe start to put pieces of the puzzle together in your health. And it's not like you need to latch on to one diagnosis and that's you.
Yeah.
You know?
No. You need to go inwards, I do believe, as
100%,
as we said earlier. I haven't forgotten where we're going next. So back to mental health. Have you ever taken anything for your own mental health, Julie, or no? So that kind of,
my mummy did, and she still does, and that's another thing. She again has just resigned to this is the way I am, and I think she has a belief that if she comes off it, she'll go mad, and it probably to some extent her brain has probably become reliant on it by this point. You know, it's been what, 25 years
there's
or
gonna
something.
Be
so that's what's kind of unfortunate that way, that it's just been left to get that bad. And then I used to live with another girl who had depression, and she took antidepressants as well. But I think like, you just know, and I'm very close to a lot of people, but I've never had it personally.
Yeah. No, I did. I was on antidepressants probably about 6 years ago, and I honestly felt it made me worse.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
You do hear that a lot.
Yeah, I did. I had become quite introverted in certain ways already, and would go through wee phases of being introverted, and it did. All I literally did, I think, for the 3 months that I was on it was like go to work, do the school run, and that was basically it. Yeah,
a lot. Like there's ones that just like completely switch off your personality and switch off your ability to enjoy life. It just turns everything off, bad and the good.
I even found watching TV, my emotion completely. I know it has to dull down your emotions and stuff, but I couldn't even find that I could laugh. I couldn't go either way with my, you know, sort of my emotions. I couldn't laugh. Definitely couldn't cry. So it just kind of felt quite flatlined.
Yeah.
And for
how
me,
did
that
you
wasn't
come off
a way.
them?
I kind of weaned myself off them.
You weaned yourself off them, yeah. I think that's the scary part for me as well. It's like obviously I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming to do it, but it's like whenever you say try something else, it's the whole like people automatically think I need to suddenly come off them, and like I think the sudden withdrawal is whenever people have like mental breakdowns, and it's a really bad idea for people. So if you're watching, don't suddenly come off your medication. Not. Do it wisely. There's actually
and seek advice as well.
Yeah. There's a fella who is doing some really interesting work, Paul McAllister from Aho Wellness. He's doing like he is a pharmacist. I'm pretty sure he was trained. Yes. And he's showing people how to come off it naturally.
Yes, I actually seen that.
I think that is an amazing idea.
It is amazing.
It's so good. And to know that there's somebody in the industry, in the wellness industry, that is also like scientifically trained and medically and understands the medical world. That's the kind of person to go to when you're doing that kind of dropping off the long-term stuff. Do it safely. I'm trained. I'm a Soma breathwork advanced. What is it? Advanced teacher. There's different leader, teacher, trainer, practitioner. And the founder of Soma, he actually was a pharmacist as well, and he was able to cure himself with a lot of things that he was suffering with using breathwork. Yeah. So, and then he dropped the whole medical world too. So he's kind of seen both sides of it too. And I love those kinds of stories.
Yeah. That's a total journey, a total 360 as well.
Yeah. And he's like breathwork is a real ancient practice, and for her to be going from medically trained, pumping out drugs to people, to going, actually let's go back to the roots. He's an Indian fella as well, so he is literally going back to his Vedic roots to be like, right, here's what we used to do all those years ago. Let's like bring it back, and
amazing.
It's working wonders
really
for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. So like, in the spiritual world, there's controversy on being completely healed or being healed altogether, and I know how I feel about it, because I think you're on a journey. I feel you're on a journey, and it's not an easy journey. Definitely not an easy journey, but it's also a beautiful journey, and it has opened me up much more in spirituality.
Yeah.
And you know that obviously from doing practices on me as well. But how do you feel about it? Do you feel that you're ever really there? You're ever really there?
Ever really healed? No, definitely not.
No,
definitely not. And one thing that there's something that somebody said to me once that really stuck in my head, that she's also a practitioner. She said about somebody who, I don't want to name any names, somebody who was kind of up and coming in the wellness space and was really like starting to get very famous about it, right? She kept saying she has a lot of healing to do, as if like she's not okay to be that famous and help that amount of people. She's got a lot of healing to do. And in my head I was like, yeah, but don't we all, you know, like I think everybody has still something to sort out and to maybe address. And
yes, I agree.
About, like certainly myself, I work with women.
Yeah.
And whenever I was younger, I didn't really have any close connections with women, and the Luna Society has really done a lot of healing for me in that. But I still have issues with some women in my life. Yeah. And some women have really hurt me, and I have had to heal deeply from that. Yeah. Even despite all the work that I have done. It doesn't protect me from still getting hurt and needing healed from something. Do you know what I mean? And with my skin as well. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect. Do you know what I mean? I still suffer from other skin things like but yeah, for people to, you know, choose a healer, choosing somebody who's telling people I am perfectly healed, there's got to be some kind of wee lie there. Do you know what I mean? Like humans are humans. We have a massive spectrum of emotions and experiences, and everybody processes them differently. It's like with you wouldn't choose somebody like a personal trainer who hadn't done personal training before. No, do you know what I mean? You have to always, and who just suddenly, okay, I got to my ideal weight and then I stopped training and that's me. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing from now on. You want somebody who's constantly doing the work and learning and evolving. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, there's also this thing too that we were just talking about how you can have this destination addiction. Definitely. Yeah. It's like, I will be happy when I've done my 200-hour yoga teacher training, or I'll be happy when I hit my ideal weight, or I'll be happy when I have like 10 friends and we're all going out together and all these routines. You know what I mean? You got to be careful. Like, you don't always need to be healing. You don't always need to be trying to achieve something and going for a goal. Yeah. You know, I think that's one thing, you know, whenever I'm doing the Luna Society, it's every month there's journal prompts, and some of the journal prompts, you know, you can take really seriously and you can go deep into, but if you were to always be so deep into that and think, oh God, this month I really have to address my creativity, and then the whole month you dedicate to that, you don't always need to be so heavy into the healing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you end up forgetting to actually enjoy your life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Enjoy your life. As I said, is one of my wee catchphrases. People laugh at me for saying it, but like, you need to enjoy your life.
I know. And life is a journey, not a destination.
It's not the destination. Yeah.
People think it's a destination, as you just say. Yeah. You have to get there.
Because how would you ever know? This is me healed. I'm fixed. Because there's like 8 pillars of like the wellness. Yeah. You're not going to be perfect in all of those at once. For a very long time anyway. Do you know?
Unless you're a Buddha.
Even him, he would probably, like, the Buddha was, he had to drop a lot of his material stuff when, like, to become the Buddha that he was. And he also had like a lot of wee challenges, and that's how he learned and how he was able to teach. Yeah. Do you know? But like Buddhist monks nowadays, they do still sit and deal with their emotions, and they deal with the thoughts that come up. And like, they're not perfect either. Yeah. They're really good at meditating, they're really good at sorting out through their shit. But when they go to the monasteries, like if you listen to Jay Shetty, you know, he came out of the monastery like very insecure about what his next path was. You know, you'd expect if you did like 3 years in a monastery, you'd be coming out, I can handle fucking anything. But he did come out very like, he said he spent 3 months in his bedroom playing video games, eating all the shit because he wasn't allowed to in the monastery. Wow. And he went into a real pit of despair because he was up here in the monastery, and then when he came back to the real world, he went down and then had to pull himself back up again. So even when somebody looks like they're doing really well, they can still have a lot of issues.
Well, from I had to take that break, I've totally lost. I know,
the flow's all just derailed me a bit. That's okay.
Yeah, so I can't even think.
We were talking about the always needing to be healing.
Always needing to be healing, yeah.
Is there something that you want to talk about?
There is a persona I feel that is given out, and it's the same with the fitness industry. There's a persona of the perfect, the perfect body, the perfect, and I don't base myself on that, the perfect body, because we're all humans, we're all different, we all heal differently, we all, process our emotions differently as well. So, it's one of them things. People, when you look at social media and things, people, it gives that perception, perfect is the way forward.
Yeah.
Is the goal. It's the basic goal. And it shouldn't be.
No.
And it's really refreshing to hear somebody like yourself, saying that as well.
Yeah.
It's in the holistic business,
Yeah, I mean, like, I've had clients that, say they're doing something every day, like, and I'm like, but why? Like, you don't really need to do that every single day anymore, and I think sometimes it just becomes like a wee comfort blanket.
Yeah.
Like all the wee coping mechanisms and stuff where, like, take plant medicine, for example, rapé, the one that's like the snuff, the shamanic stuff you put in your nose. Like, using that can become a bit of a crutch, you know what I mean? Like, people hold on to that, like, this is helping me, but like, it's okay, just take a step back from that and just do other things and experience differently.
Plant medicine is something I have never done, so tell us a wee bit about that. Do you do?
I would guide people through rapé.
Okay. Yes.
I think when people say plant medicine, they automatically go to mushrooms and ayahuasca and peyote and stuff. I am only experienced in rapé, and rapé is like a type of shamanic snuff that comes from different barks and herbs and trees in the rainforest, and it's all ground up, and it's like an ash, and it's administered up into the nose, and it's the experience of it is, it's first there's that shooting of pain first, but once you get past that pain, you get a really deep sensation of grounding. And it's lovely. It's not psychedelic. It's not a trip or anything. Yeah. It's just, it's about 10-15 minutes. Just experience deep grounding and deep focus. And like, that's really, really nice. I think it's really important for people as well to have the ability to snap themselves out of overthinking. Yes. I think it might actually be quite good for you. That would be benefit for me. Yeah. It's very good. Like, and I used it, I actually won like when I'm like in share competitions from one of those people and I got like 2 sets of them, and it's done me like years now. It's done me 2 years, but that's how I started my journey. I was like, okay, what is this? Let's go play around with it. Wow. And oh my god, the first time I ever did it, you got these there's a pipe, that's a tepe, and that would be for me to give it to you or you to give it to me, somebody else. And then there's a creepy, it's like a V, right? So one is shorter and one's taller, and you put it into the taller one, you blow up into your own nose, right? Yeah. And you have to do this one and this one. First time I ever took it, I really was like, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. This is before my training, because I just won this. I was like, I'm going to get started on this. They think sage is harmless, incense is how you're like, I'm just going to do this. It's going to be really cool. No, I did way too much. I did way too hard. I was boking and
oh my goodness,
what is happening to me? Yeah. So don't try this if you don't if you don't know what you're doing. I was booking, I was sitting on the toilet, I was voice noting another girl who was like, had also done it before. I was like, is this normal? Have I hurt myself? What have I done? And you go into like, that was because I did too much. It just made me feel really sick, and it was very sore because I didn't know to expect the pain either. Yeah. So always, if you're first trying it, do it with somebody who understands and who's trained. I am now trained to do it. But then afterwards, yes, you can get the stuff and you can administer it yourself at home, and it's the type of thing I know that people who take it just carry it around in a wee pouch in their handbag. Wow. It's just like a wee, years ago they'd have like a wee box of snuff and they'd rub it in their gums. It's just, you blow it up your nose and you don't sniff it, you don't swallow it, it just sits in your mucous membrane, and that's how it's absorbed, and that's how it kind of gets into your bloodstream, and then after about 10 minutes or whatever, you can blow it out. So, and you would say it would sort of like level you down from that anxious feeling, or if you're having overthinking. I used to take it before I needed to focus on developing something. Okay. So if I was actually, someone else said that to me. I'm trying to think who, but someone else actually said that to me quite recently. Yeah, it makes total sense. Like, if you know me, if anybody's watching me, I never stop with the ideas. And whenever I have an idea and I needed, like, it was on the verge of being more clarity, it was like, okay, we wrap, I sit with it for a second, and then just on the laptop or writing down on the journals. Right, I need to try this. Honestly, like, I think I actually have some. I could give you it after if you want. We could do it live. Look at that, if you want. But it's a nice experience. It is nice. Yeah. But your eyes will be streaming. It's a wee bit sore at the start, but
Okay.
once it's like momentary, honestly.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to give it a go.
Yeah. Mushrooms are also good. I haven't done ayahuasca, I haven't done peyote, or I've done kambo. Now kambo's a fantastic one.
Yeah.
It's less of a plant medicine, more of a frog medicine. It
Yes,
comes from the secretions of a frog and helps purge everything that you've been holding on
Yeah.
to, and but you have to fast, and then you have to drink a ton of water before you take it. So
Yeah.
you know that you're not just soaking up all your food.
Yeah.
It's all the things that you've been holding on to inside, and it's a lovely
I looked
clean
at
feeling whenever you're
loads
done.
of times and spoke to people about it and spoke to practitioners about it, and it was kind of,
It's a scary one to go into.
Yeah.
It took me a while to actually go, right, I'm going to do it. But it's lovely. It is like, it's a weird feeling. It's not nice when you're in it.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you literally just feel clean on the inside and clean on the soul too.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can describe it.
The counsellor I was talking about earlier, the guy David, that's what he does it. He does
Yeah.
it regularly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's good, like for the mind as well. Like it's again, the girl who does it up in my studio, she helped, like she used kambo to help with her alcoholism,
right.
like to help him strip out of it. Because right enough, anytime I've taken it, like the weeks afterwards, I just wanted to eat clean.
Yeah.
You're very conscious of what you put in
What
your
you're
body.
putting
'Cause
in
it's like a reset. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a detox.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're purging as well with it, aren't you?
Yeah. And you're sweating the bit out. Yeah.
Yeah. And long does the purge last? Is it
About half an hour. Like you're like from
Right.
it being put under your skin to you going, oh, I feel okay now. It's half an hour.
Well, definitely
very
don't
quick.
definitely don't Google it, because when I Googled it, it came up. I was purging for hours and things like that, and reading different stories.
Not hours. Like no, it's a bit extreme.
I think it was just what I was reading on Google.
Yeah. But then again, I'm not a practitioner, so maybe it is an hour. Like maybe
Yeah.
you can go for hours if you have a very extreme reaction. But my experience has only been half an hour max.
Yeah.
Really, like yeah.
You mentioned a few others there. What other ones did you mention before the Gambo?
There's one peyote and ayahuasca.
I've heard of ayahuasca. Yeah.
Ayahuasca, peyote, I don't really have a lot of knowledge about. I don't really have knowledge about ayahuasca either, but I know that you go into a real deep trip, and it's kind of shows you a lot of kind of
Stuff
things
from
that
your
need
subconscious,
to
isn't
be
it?
addressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm not really,
You're not really
super familiar with it. And,
Yeah.
But it's apparently very healing. But it's a very
I've
serious
actually
one.
it's come up in a few films I've watched recently as well. Or was it a series?
What films was it?
Or was it a series? That's what I'm just trying to think, because I've actually been quite what I'm watching on. I'm quite sensitive to TV and all now, so and it came up and I was like, "Whoa, that's right." I'm trying to think. There's a series I'm about to watch on, is it Amazon? The Nine Strangers, about the wellness.
I love that. Oh
Is
my
it good?
god, it is so good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Total dark twist, but it's really, really good.
Yeah,
it is really
looks good. Someone recommended it to me the
Yeah.
other week. And I was
it's
like,
so good.
right, I need to set time aside and watch
Nine
it.
Perfect Strangers or something. Isn't
That's
it?
the Nine Perfect
and it's
Strangers.
Nicole Kidman in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really good.
It looks good.
It's good, but it's a bit dark, and it's not reflective of what the holistic community really is. It's so good.
I know, because I put a trailer on, and it does. It looks good.
Yeah,
So it does.
you'll enjoy it. You'll want to
Great.
watch that from start to finish. You will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it just the one episode?
No, it's. I think it's only like one season, but it's like 10 episodes or something. It's one of the
Yeah.
ones you just get really deep into.
Didn't binge watch all night.
Yes.
Well, so Julie, where can we find, or where can we begin with all your treatments? Would it be?
So we've got the website, theharmonyhubni.co.uk. It's a
Yeah.
bit of a mouthful, like, but it's can't call it anything else. That's what the business is called. Theharmonyhubni.co.uk, and on there you will find the classes, the treatments available, and the memberships and the wee mini courses and stuff. So, it's not just me working in the Harmony Hub. It's not just me working in the Harmony Hub. There's massage therapists, aromatherapy,
Yeah.
there's reflexology, acupuncture. There's 2 other girls doing all those. And then there's Tai Chi classes. There are, every now and again, there's witchy workshops. There's tarot card readings.
Wow.
There's really a whole hive of activity. And I would do High Vibe Fridays from now on. This is like, I'm so excited about this. So
Yeah.
to help people kind of move into the weekend in a more healthy, wholesome way, rather than just immediately hitting the bottle or going to the pub after work. It's a blend of meditation, breath work, chanting, and actually last Friday we did all do rapé as well at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It was nice, yeah. so that really raises your spirits for the weekend,
and
rather
your
than
vibration as well, obviously.
rather than just going, oh fuck, what a week, I just want to binge. Do you know what I mean? You go and you're like, yeah, I'm fucking buzzing for my free time now, and this is a really good way to bring that in. And then obviously the circles. So we're moving into brighter nights now. So I think this end of March circle will be the start of the forest circles and the beach circles.
Lovely.
But I mean, you can follow me on the Harmony Hippie on Instagram, or the Harmony Hub NI on Instagram. Or you can add me as a friend, whatever. I'm available everywhere, except TikTok. I don't actually have TikTok.
Thinking of higher vibrations, it was Mother's Day yesterday. And so happy Mother's Day to all the lovely mummies. You too. And yourself. Did you have a nice Mother's Day yesterday? Did you get up to much, or did the kids get you anything nice or make you anything special? We went out. I went out with my mum and my granny and my mummy's friend Lisa. And we ended up going to dinner and a drag show, which was really good fun. Oh, class.
My mummy was like, I bought you tickets for a dinner and a show. I don't even think she realised fully what it was, because we were like, what actually is it we're going to see? Belfast Ma. And it was Belfast Ma. Right. And I swear to God, the character was like my mum on stage. Do you know all this? Oh, where are you here? Oh, Jesus. Oh. And like the way that he was, it was my mum all over. It was hilarious. And we just kept going, that's you. She's like, stop. It was good fun. And then whenever I came home, Amber brought me the wee... She was like, I didn't get you anything. But then she came in with a wee armful of things, all proud of herself. She got me like a wee flower pot with a hippie wagon and chocolates.
Oh, lovely.
Just a nice wee fuzzy. I love that. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm not the type of person that wants like all very expensive jewellery or much.
No,
for Mother's Day. Like,
it's more about feeling appreciated. I mean, yesterday my buzzer went on at like 9:45. Justin was still sleeping. I was like, who is at my door at this time? And answered it, and the guy was like, I have a delivery for you. And I was like, ooh,
nice.
And up he comes with this big bunch of flowers, and Justin's still lying in bed with the head going like that. And I says, did you get me these? And he's like, yes. And the big smile on his face,
so nice.
Just so sweet.
That's really thoughtful, isn't it? Yeah, it's nice to be acknowledged for what we do.
Yeah. It is.
Especially just after International Women's Day too. It was just a real weekend for the women, like, wasn't it? It was lovely.
I know, and that's what I had said in a post, that women aren't graceful enough to ourselves. We do have to run about and feel like we have to do everything. Yeah. But we need to take time back.
Time down, time away and wind down. Because if you're not okay, then everything else that you're meant to be taking care of is not okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally. Well, Julie, thank you so much for coming on today. It was absolutely lovely to have you. We have gone round in circles because of our wee hiccups, but it's been really, really wonderful, and I will definitely have you back on.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't wait to have my next treatment with you as well.
Yeah.
But don't forget to go and follow Julie. If you want to find out more about her, on her website, or Julie is the Harmony Hub on
Instagram. The Harmony Hippie on
the
Instagram.
Harmony Hippie,
that's me, and then the studio is at the Harmony Hub NI.
Yeah. And if you want to watch the podcast as well, you can watch the podcast through my website at www.shecantransformations.com. So thank you very much.
Thank you.